Hi everyone, Cleus Glory Young here. So I'm on my way to go get my hair retwisted, and every time I'm in this position where I'm getting my hair retwisted, so I have to pull it out, and then it always made me reflect on this journey of actually growing locks. Literally, I went from a stage of where it was like taunting and name calling and all the other things that are negatively said, right? To the point where I'm getting now compliments and inspiring others either to continue their journey or to start the journey of having locks. But beyond that, I'm now at a point where I could look and I see it all the way down here, but I know it didn't start out like that, and literally it has given me the avenue of where it has taught me so many things about life. Just being on this journey and being able to grow my locks out, it has taught me so many things in life, and here are 4 of the many things that it has taught me. The first one is the start. Things are gonna be messy, frustrating. Everything that you can think of that literally would go wrong, right, may go wrong. And that's how my journey started out. I recalled that I was working in a school when I started my locks, and you know how some students can be. I remember going in my first day of getting my hair twisted, and some of the students were like, wow, Mr. Young has worm on his head. Some other people were like, oh, it doesn't fit you, you should have stuck with the mohawk, because I had mohawk before. The mohawk looked much better, you shouldn't have done that, and all that. So that taught me, it's like, hey, the journey of starting for anything, right, is always gonna be messy. It's gonna be sometimes where you feel like you have done the wrong things. You're gonna get the naysayers to do whatever and say whatever, right? But literally I went from that messy stage, right, to the point where I'm getting compliments on my hair now. So that was the first one. The second one is the growth. When I started out, as I said, they would say, hey, worm head, because there were literally these little locks on my head, like tiny locks that look like worm, to the point now where they're all the way down here. But for that, it taught me about what is called growth, and understanding how to grow something, right? It gave me the opportunity to now understand how could I grow other things. So learning how to grow my hair from that tiny stage to now where it's all the way down to my chest now, literally taught me how to grow things. And I've done that with 2 set of plants. So started out with a bamboo plant, and over the year my bamboo plant has grown so much. So that was the first, and recently I got some new plants and I'm seeing them growing so fast. And I recall from that because when I was at the place where I got the plants from, they were giving them away, saying, oh, the plants are dying out and they don't know if they're gonna last long, so just take them and see what would happen. And I literally took them, and I think it's about 2 weeks now, and I'm looking at the plants and they're shooting, like, wow. So that was the second step. If you learn how to grow one thing, you can transfer that skill into learning how to grow other things, right? So I grow plants now. I know how to grow my friendship with my friends or families, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing is be careful who you let handle things that are in your possession. So I recall when we were in that heavy state of the pandemic and we couldn't go to the salons to get our hair done. I used to have a close friend of mine that did my hair, and I guess at some point, because I don't have sister locks, but I have tiny locks, and it takes a long time. And what happened at that particular moment, I guess the person didn't want to untangle certain part of my locks, and they ended up cutting out several strings of my locks. I was like, oh, I don't want to get into it, but the person told me like, oh, you don't need this, you don't. And I'm there listening to the person. When it was finished, I think I had like 5 locks that was cut. So I went home with them. When we started now in that position where we were able to go back to the salons, and I went back to my regular person now getting my hair done, they're like, oh, Cleus, where's your hair? And I'm like, I told the person, and the person's like, no, they shouldn't have done that. They should. And I learned from that. Be careful who you let in the position of the things that you have. Because that person didn't want to go through the lengthy time that it would take to do the locks properly, they started cutting my hair. And sometimes it's like that in life, that people will take shortcut with you because they don't want to get certain things done, right? And then the fourth and final thing that I would want to share is the avenue of understanding that you, as someone who just started out your lock journey, is not the same as another person who is starting the same thing as well. Yeah, you may be having the locks in common, but your journey is totally different. I've seen where, hey, at one point when I just started out, like I was like, why isn't my lock locking? Why isn't it growing the way I want it to grow, like what I've seen before? And I learned in the process that you have to understand these things take time, and whatever someone else is doing may not be the same thing that you're doing. So your locks may not grow as the person locks, right? And that's one of the most significant things that I learned from growing my locks, that my journey of what I'm doing, no matter how similar it looked to someone else, it's totally different. How I care for my hair, right, is totally different than how someone else care for their hair, even though both of us have locks. What I put in my hair is totally different from what someone else put in their hair. So at the end of the day, we're not going to have the same journey. We have the similar common thing, which is locks, but the journey is totally different. And I learned about that, like real significant about the things that I'm doing, right? They may look the same as others, but they're totally different based on my own understanding, based on the things that I do, right? So these are 4 things that I literally learned from just growing my locks out, from that stage of where, as I said, it was the name calling, the taunting, to now I'm getting compliments and inspiring others to either continue their lock journey or to actually start their lock journey. So it goes to show that you out there, whatever you're doing, you can learn from it. Sometimes it's going to be messy, sometimes it's going to be frustrating, but whatever it is, you can learn from it. And for me, this journey of growing my locks have taught me so much that I'm able to now translate either in my life or in other people's life. Once again, my name is Cleus Glory Young, and God bless.